Hi, welcome to part 5 of the cherry liquor cabinet build. Today I'm going to continue on with the pre-assembly and pre-finishing and hopefully get to the assembly of the cabinet case. So most of the cabinet is ready for assembly right now with the exception of the left side. What I have left to do over there is to build some shelf standards. And what I mean by shelf standards, if you're not familiar, that's the hardware that will support the shelf. This is going to be an adjustable shelf, and so in order to move it up and down, you have to have different places where you can place that shelf. That's the shelf standards. What you see most nowadays is what I did in the walnut buffet cabinet, and that is to have the shelf supported by some pretty readily available hardware now that seats into a drilled hole, either in the cabinet sides or in some kind of runner, which is what I did in the last one. It was a hardwood runner with holes drilled in it. And there's a couple different types of hardware that you can use to do that. For this cabinet, I don't want to do that. I want to do things a little bit different. So what I'm going to be doing in this one is I'm going to be building a set of sawtooth shelf standards. Now this is an older way to do it actually. This is how that was accomplished back before you had readily available hardware like this. I think it's a pretty elegant way to do it, and it's a 100% wood design, which I also like. And also I don't quite trust drilled holes to last the test of time, and I want this cabinet to last the test of time. There's nothing wrong with the standard way of doing it, the modern way of doing it. I just want to try out these sawtooth shelf standards. So that's where we're going to start today. I've got a piece of 8/4 left over from when I made the legs, and I think it's just about the right size that I'll be able to make all 4 shelf standards out of this one piece. You'll see that there's a series of cuts that have to be made in order to have that happen. And by building it out of one piece and then separating out my 4 standards later on, I'll simplify the process a little bit. Okay, so I have one more consideration before I can finish these up and actually get them installed, and that's where these sit on this far outside panel. Because this panel is up against the leg here, and in the center it's not, it's flush with the rails and stiles, that means if I were just to install this standard here at the back side of the panel, then they wouldn't be even from side to side. So I actually have to rabbet out the back side of this standard to accept this leg all the way down and even it with what we have over here. So that means that rabbet will be the same dimension as this corner sticks out from this panel. So this far up and this far over. With the rabbet now cut in the back of this one, you can see how even though they aren't flush completely with the back panel, which is fine, as the back panel is going to float anyway, not a big deal, they are even with each other, both sitting against the back rail at that same depth. So that will account for the difference in the width of the center panel versus the outside panel. Now I just need to clean them up, get them sanded, and get them glued on. So this inner shelf standard is a little bit of a challenge when it comes to glue up because it's floating in the middle of this panel. It's really hard to reach with clamps. Also, I don't have a good reference like I do this back edge in order to get this straight, so I'm doing two things. First of all, you can see I've run a line of blue tape, which you can feel. Sliding this against it, I can feel that that's registered exactly where it needs to be. And the second thing is I'm going to be using a series of cawls to get this clamped down, to put some clamping pressure on it, because it's just too difficult to get to in the middle of it. Okay, so I'm getting ready to do this glue up, and a couple quick notes before I do. Number one, because everything's pre-finished, I'm being careful and protecting the surfaces where I'm going to be clamping. I have an idea where those spots are going to be, so just to be safe, I'm taping on some clamping cawls in those spots just to protect the wood a little bit. And the number two thing is, this is a big glue up with a lot of pieces, so I don't want to feel rushed when I'm doing this. I want to make sure I take my time and get it right. So I'm going to be using epoxy for this glue up as well, just to give me as much working time as I can get. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this one up here. I've got the glue up complete, and I'm actually not very happy with how the glue up went. There's a couple of small gaps that I didn't notice until after everything was already cured, and I'm not sure if that's something that I missed doing my dry assemblies, or if it's an effect of where the clamping pressure was, or what happened. No one would probably ever notice them but me, but I noticed them, and so I'm not very happy about it. But I am going to end this one here. In the next one, I'm going to start working on the drawers, and there's still lots to do. So thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.